And now, live from Funky Town, Fort Worth, Texas, it's time for the show that's feeding starving artists everywhere. Welcome to the Making Money with Your Music show with your host, author of the best-selling how-to book for musicians, Making Money with Your Music. Here he is, Dwayne Washington.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Washington, author of Making Money with Your Music. Here we are at session 2. Again, just a little bit of bonus material. We had a couple of questions that dealt with some specifics on how to get a gig, so I'm going to handle those. If you're trying to figure out how to get a gig, we talked about some different places to look, but there were still questions on how do we go about getting that gig? How do we contact the right people? How do we find out that certain things are happening? So I'm going to walk this through for you. Here, I'm sitting right now in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, there are several different types of newspapers. Some are mainstream newspapers, some are just entertainment newspapers. So I'm going to advise that you go specifically to the entertainment newspapers for right now. Not saying that that's the only thing that'll work, but it's a great place to start. So if you're in Fort Worth, look for the Fort Worth Weekly. If you're in Dallas, look for the Dallas Observer. If you're in any other city, look for something of that sort in your town, some type of entertainment newspaper. Turn to the area that is advertising clubs or concerts or even restaurants. You want to look for those that are advertising the fact that they have entertainment, especially those that say we have entertainment and they are notating what entertainer it is. For example, if there's a band called Bob's Blue Band and XYZ Restaurant is advertising the fact that this week you can come hear Bob's Blue Band on Friday and maybe next week you can hear a different type of band. You want to look for those types of venues because they're already in the vein of booking music. They have someone whose job it is to book talent, and that's the person that you need to call. Which brings me to my next step. If and when you find those individuals, pick up the phone and call these individuals. Call the restaurant. Call the club. Call these people directly and ask one question. Who books the music at your venue? They're going to let you know. Paul books the entertainment or Rachel books the entertainment. You want to look for those people who are booking the entertainment already. Ask the question and make sure you have some certainty in your voice when you're calling. Once you call and get a hold of that particular person, do not, whatever you do, don't just send a demo. What you want to do when you get on the phone with that person is you want to set the appointment. Set the appointment. STA, set the appointment. Set an appointment with that individual. Doesn't have to be long, but an appointed time that you say, hey, look, let's get together. It should take no longer than 5 or 6 minutes. Do you have time at 4:30 today? Do you have time at 5 p.m. tomorrow? Whatever it is, set the appointed amount of time for you to sit down with this individual and see if you fit the venue. Now, once you set that time, the appropriate time, go out, be on time, go out and meet with that individual. Do not drop your demo off and leave. They may never get a chance to listen to it. Now, am I saying that that never happens, that you never leave it and you won't get the gig? I'm not saying that, but you have a better chance if you negotiate right away. Otherwise, you're calling them back, asking them, hey, have you listened to it yet? Have you listened to it yet? What do you think? That type of thing. You want to close the deal when you get there. So when you get there, have a way for them to listen to your music right then. Whether it's on your iPod, whether it's an iPad, whether you have it online and you're able to connect and listen to it, you want to make sure that you're able to close the deal and force them into saying yes or no right then. Yes, we've got a spot open. No, you don't meet the criteria for our club. You want that answer right away. You don't want to have to chase them for the next, 20 or 30 days or who knows, 2 or 3 months, trying to find out if you fit their venue or not. Especially when you don't and you've chased them for 2.5 months, just really wasting your time. You don't want to do that. So find the spot, set the appointment, go out with your demo in hand and in a manner that they can listen to or see you right away. Very important. That way you're not chasing them down later. Now, for those that are interested in doing different types of gigs, festivals, for example, the great thing about a festival is that festivals are yearly. For the most part, the same festival happens around the same time every year. If you're in the state of Texas, there's a great site for you to go to. Phenomenal. Just Google the Governor's Office and music. The Governor's Office of the state of Texas actually has a website dedicated to all musical events in the state of Texas. It's broken down so you can see exactly where the venue is located, the type of music that they're looking for, and even contact information regarding the event. Make sure to get in contact with them. If you're not in the state of Texas, that's okay. Many other places around the world have similar types of programs. Now, if you don't have a website like that in your state, don't fret. It's okay. You can still Google for those festivals that are in your area, in your state, and in your country. If it happened last year, it's probably going to happen this year. It's very simple. Once you get on the site, just send them an email. Do the same thing. If you can set up an appointment, great. If you can't, that's okay. Send them an email with your information and ask them to give you a call. Then after that, you can follow that up with an EPK or electronic press kit. You can have all that information sent to them. Hopefully, you've got your online press kit set up. So if you set that up, you can send them a link and they can see you on YouTube or MySpace or Facebook or whatever you've done that is online that they can check a look, listen to. There's a lot of services out there as well that help you put your information out online so that others can see it. And do the same thing with them. Set a time to follow up. Hey, I'm going to give you a call around Tuesday. Is 2 p.m. a good time? Do the same thing. Same follow-up. Who books the entertainment for the festival? They'll let you know who it is, and you see if you fit in the genre with the festival. Now, if this is a brand new festival that you're dealing with, I mean, you can try to negotiate to get on different stages, but usually they have what stages they have available. You want to be on the big stage, but if it's your first time being at that event, know that you may not be. If you're unknown in that area, you just might not make the big stage the first time. That's okay. Take what they give you, negotiate it if you can, and just do the best job you possibly can when you play that gig. So once again, with a festival, very easy. Find those festivals in your area using Google or any other search engine. And once you find them, they should have some contact information for this year. Now, it's best to contact festivals early, maybe 4 or 5 months ahead sometimes. Usually, when you're trying to contact them at the last minute, they'll be booked. Does that mean that you can't call them at the last minute? Absolutely not. Remember what we say all the time, you let them say no. There was a time when we were getting ready to call a particular place. We had forgot about the festival, quite honestly. They have it every year. It was coming up. It was only a couple of weeks away. We made a phone call, and lo and behold, they had an opening spot on the big stage. And so we were able to get to the big stage, have a great crowd, because it was part of the opening ceremony. I don't know if someone canceled or whatever, but it was a perfect spot for us. We were able to do well, move product, and get exposure all at the same time. And we actually negotiated a deal with that. We were on a billboard that they were putting up about the same time, 2 weeks out from the event. So we were able to get on a billboard. We were paid very, very well, and we were a great spot inside the festival just because we called them and asked for the gig. Okay? Everything we're talking about here is really you taking advantage of the talent and skill and ability that you have been given, not waiting around for your phone to ring. Now, if you do the things that I'm teaching here, trust me, your phone will begin to ring. But right now, that might not be the case. You might have a situation where, hey, you played the gig one year and they call you back next year. You can also have a situation where you played the gig this year and someone else is booking the gig for next year, and so you're still going to have to be proactive and go after that gig, right? So find the festival by Googling it, call or email to find out who books the talent, and then send your information over. Simple as that. After that, you can send a contract, follow up, and negotiate price. Very easy. Now, there's something that's not as simple, not as cut and dry, and not as easy to do, and that is your corporate parties. A lot of times your corporate parties really come from your other events, your other gigs, your club gigs. Someone who books a corporate party may be at a club, they see you play, or they hear about somebody that's seen you play, and now they're booking you for their event. Does that mean you cannot be proactive with the corporate party? Of course not. You can still be proactive there. There's a lot of ways to be proactive. Once again, corporate parties are pretty much the same. They have them every year, usually around Christmas time. So if you can find out, even from a hotel, who is having a corporate party in that hotel, that gives you an opportunity to contact that company, contact their marketing department, and see if you could play for that event. Now, how do you do that? Well, at every hotel, or most hotels, especially large hotels, there's usually a person who handles all of the events. Someone whose job it is to book new events there. That's the person you want to get to know. Simply draft an email. Call the hotel, find out who the person is. You can call them and let them know, hey, I'm going to send you some information on my band because we would love to do some of your corporate parties where it makes sense. And we want to give a discount to your particular hotel. It always is great when they're able to tell the client that you are doing a discount because of the hotel. And so you can call the client whenever they hook you up with a client, you can call them and say, hey, our price would be this X amount, but because you're doing the gig here, or because you're doing your corporate party at this particular place, well, here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to take 10% off or 5% off or whatever it is. Or we've got a special gift for you. Always sweeten the deal some kind of way. Now, when you call that individual at a hotel, same thing. Set up a meeting. Set the appointment. Don't make it long. Don't make it an hour and a half because these people are busy. 15 minutes should suffice. Bring your stuff in with you. Bring video information of you. Bring your cards. Bring all the stuff you can because they're going to have to sell you to their client. And you want to make sure they have enough information to do that. So if you're a gospel band and there's a gospel event coming to town or some church type of event, and that particular salesperson is talking to the individual on the other side saying, hey, look, do you have any entertainment plan? Because we do have someone here in the area that'll take care of that for you. And the first thing they're going to say is, well, can you send me some of their material? You don't want that salesperson to have to call you back and figure out if they can get some material or whatnot. You want them to be able to close the deal right there, just like I'm telling you to close the deal, so they can send information right away, makes that salesperson look that much better, and they're able to look at you right away to see if you meet the criteria that they're looking for. So help them out as much as you possibly can. If you do that, I'm telling you, you'll have more gigs. You'll have more gigs. Now, I'm going to talk about something that you need to do once you have the gig and you're on the gig. And that's to repeat the gig. If you're at a club, the best time to get club dates is while you're playing. So once you take a break, I want you to go and find the club owner or find the guy who books the talent there and say, hey, look, what other open dates do you have coming up? Book that then. I cannot tell you how important that is. A lot of people miss that. You get the gig one time, you go in and you play, and then they never play there again. All because they didn't reaffirm the deal while they were there. So while you're at that club or that event, even the festival, you want to see, hey, are you guys doing this next year? Let's see if we can get on the roster for next year. Now, it may be a little bit harder to find those people during a festival, but you can still utilize the same concepts. You definitely want to do that in the club, though. You want to find that individual and rebook that gig. You should be able to get 2 or 3 gigs from the gig you're currently doing. If you're not able to do that, it usually means you're not doing a good job. You need to go back to your practice regimen and get your practice up, get your skills up. If you are doing a great job, they're going to want you to come back. They're going to clear their calendar. They may even get rid of someone else just to have you come in. But you want to book that right then. Do not wait at all. We're going to talk a little bit about stage presence today. Very important, extremely important is your live show and your stage presence. If you don't have stage presence, man, you don't have anything going for you. Why would somebody pay $50 to come see you if you're not visually amazing, visually stimulating? Now you might be saying, well, right now people are not paying $50 to come see me. I'm playing on the street corner or whatever. If you ever want them to pay $50 to come see you, you better make it worth it. And don't wait till they're paying $50 to figure it out. No one's going to pay $50 to come see you if you're not stimuli. No one's going to pay $50 to come see you if you're not visually amazing. A good friend of mine, David Whiteman, with the David Whiteman and the Love Chocolates, told me one time, he said, Dwayne, people listen with their eyes. I thought that was a profound statement because he's absolutely right. If you go to a live performance, and I want you guys to think, the last live performance that you've been at, was it was it amazing? Think back to the greatest show you've ever been to. The most off-the-hook concert that you've ever seen. I want you to think about that just for a moment. Who was it? Was it Michael Jackson? Was it Janet Jackson? Was it Run DMC? Was it Amy? Who was it? Who was it? Was it Amy Winehouse? Was it Garth Brooks? Who was it? Chances are, if it was a great concert, and I asked you to describe that concert to me, most of what you would be describing has nothing to do with music. I remember one time I was at a country concert and I was just so amazed by the light show that they had. I mean, one guy was standing in front of just a whole sea of lights and you could just see his outline. It was amazing to me. I remember one time going to a Michael Jackson concert, and at the end of the concert, a guy that was supposed to be Michael Jackson, but I seen him to make the change, behind the scenes, but supposed to be Michael Jackson, put on a jetpack and actually fly off the stage. Amazing. Amazing. And friends, if you think about it, you probably have the same story. That, hey, when so-and-so was able to do this, or so-and-so was able to do that. I'm going to show you a clip real quick from one of our shows, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Check this out. Wow, that was a long note, right? You see the guy getting his hair cut in the middle of the stage, in the middle of the show. That's actually hilarious. A good friend of mine, that's Ahmad Johnson, getting his hair cut by none other than Marcus Rockwell. So, great deal in the middle of the show, has nothing to do with music. And if you think about it, it's one note, and the crowd goes wild. If you listen to the end of that stanza, or when we come back in with the full band, you see how much more involved the crowd is, how much more active the crowd is. Not because the music is all of that great, it's because visually we gave them something to look at. We engaged them into our show. Very important musicians and artists and poets. Engage the people in your show. Be visually amazing. I don't care if you can play great music. You know what? That makes for a great CD. And people are going to stop coming to your live show and they're just going to buy your CD. If you're not stimuli, if you're not physically and visually amazing whenever you get on stage, you should be electrifying. People should be saying, man, what is he going to do next? A lot of my shows, I have a concept that I try to utilize, and that's I want to give every single person in there an opportunity to have a different experience. In other words, I want so much going on at some particular points that you can't experience it all. That does two things. Number one, it builds excitement, makes you want to come to the next show, and even gives your friend that you came with, it gives you guys something different to talk about over lunch. Hey, when he was doing that, I noticed when this was happening. Oh, I missed that because I was too busy looking at this. I'm going to tell you a perfect person for this is Cher. If you look at a Cher show, she's got so much going on. She might have an elephant on stage. She might have trapeze artists going. So much to look at. Everyone gets a different experience. We're going to talk a little bit about stage presence today. Very important, extremely important is your live show and your stage presence. If you don't have stage presence, man, you don't have anything going for you. Why would somebody pay $50 to come see you if you're not visually amazing, visually stimulating? Now you might be saying, well, right now people are not paying $50 to come see me. I'm playing on the street corner or whatever. If you ever want them to pay $50 to come see you, you better make it worth it. And don't wait till they're paying $50 to figure it out. No one's going to pay $50 to come see you if you're not visually amazing. A good friend of mine, David Whiteman, with the David Whiteman and the Love Chocolates, told me one time, he said, Dwayne, people listen with their eyes. I thought that was a profound statement because he's absolutely right. If you go to a live performance, and I want you guys to think, the last live performance that you've been at, was it was it amazing? Think back to the greatest show you've ever been to. The most off-the-hook concert that you've ever seen. I want you to think about that just for a moment. Who was it? Was it Michael Jackson? Was it Janet Jackson? Was it Run DMC? Was it Amy? Who was it? Who was it? Was it Amy Winehouse? Was it Garth Brooks? Who was it? Chances are, if it was a great concert, and I asked you to describe that concert to me, most of what you would be describing has nothing to do with music. I remember one time I was at a country concert and I was just so amazed by the light show that they had. I mean, one guy was standing in front of just a whole sea of lights and you could just see his outline. It was amazing to me. I remember one time going to a Michael Jackson concert, and at the end of the concert, a guy that was supposed to be Michael Jackson, but I seen him to make the change, behind the scenes, but supposed to be Michael Jackson, put on a jetpack and actually fly off the stage. Amazing. Amazing. And friends, if you think about it, you probably have the same story. That, hey, when so-and-so was able to do this, or so-and-so was able to do that. I'm going to show you a clip real quick from one of our shows, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Check this out. Wow, that was a long note, right? You see the guy getting his hair cut in the middle of the stage, in the middle of the show. That's actually hilarious. A good friend of mine, that's Ahmad Johnson, getting his hair cut by none other than Marcus Rockwell. So, great deal in the middle of the show, has nothing to do with music. And if you think about it, it's one note, and the crowd goes wild. If you listen to the end of that stanza, or when we come back in with the full band, you see how much more involved the crowd is, how much more active the crowd is. Not because the music is all of that great, it's because visually we gave them something to look at. We engaged them into our show. Very important musicians and artists and poets. Engage the people in your show. Be visually amazing. You know, I don't care if you can play great music. You know what? That makes for a great CD. And people are going to stop coming to your live show and they're just going to buy your CD. If you're not physically and visually amazing whenever you get on stage, you should be electrifying. People should be saying, man, what is he going to do next? You know, a lot of my shows, I have a concept that I try to utilize, and that's I want to give every single person in there an opportunity to have a different experience. In other words, I want so much going on at some particular points that you can't experience it all. That does two things. Number one, it builds excitement, makes you want to come to the next show, and even gives your friend that you came with, it gives you guys something different to talk about over lunch. Hey, you know, when he was doing that, I noticed when this was happening. Oh, I missed that because I was too busy looking at this. I'm going to tell you a perfect person for this is Cher. If you look at a Cher show, she's got so much going on. She might have an elephant on stage. She might have trapeze artists going. So much to look at. Everyone gets a different experience. So the show has to be amazing. Visually, you have to be incredible. You have to be incredible. Cher, she'll do all kind of stuff. I just love her. Just go look at a DVD. Just go look at a video. Look at her on YouTube. See all the phenomenal things that are there. And if you're not amazing, why would somebody watch you on YouTube? Just because you sing well? Well, they're just going to download your CD. Be amazing. Make people go to YouTube. Ask people to tape the show. And when they tape the show, they can go and post it on YouTube, and everyone will watch it and continue to watch it. Why? Because it's amazing. Now I'm going to tell you a concept that I utilize to get people into a show. You'll find that if you use the most senses possible, you'll be more stimulating in any kind of show. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You've got 5 senses. You can see, and you can smell, and you can taste, and you can hear, and you can touch. You can do those things. The more of those that your audience utilizes during your show, the more engaged they're going to be, the more excited they're going to be, the more apt they're going to be to talk about it when they leave, the more apt they're going to be to come back and bring somebody else. And guess what? The more apt they are going to be to purchase a CD at the end of the night. Now, you may be saying, well, how do you do that? I mean, what do you really mean by that? You know what? I'm going to show you this clip right now, and it's going to tell you exactly what I mean. Now, if you look at that clip, you'll see something. Now, here we are again holding a note, and you see that we brought out the Coca-Cola bottles, and we brought out the other bottle there, and I signed it. Now, once you're hearing us, you're using your hearing. Now we gave you something to see, something different to see. You see the bottles everywhere. There is some hot dogs inside the cart there. And so we're giving you something to physically see. Now, once we take and throw out that bottle, now we're giving you something to touch. So you're hearing with your ears, and you're hearing this note, you're seeing all of this stuff happen and transpire. Now you're going to get a chance to touch something, because here comes this big blow-up thing out in the middle of nowhere, as well as we start handing out hot dogs from the stage. So that's allowing you to see something, for you to smell it now, because the hot dogs are out there. You can taste the hot dogs. You can touch the stuff that came out on the Ozarka bottle that we threw out. And guess what? You're still hearing what we did to begin with. You're using all 5 of your senses. I guarantee you that the more of those you can engage, the more successful you're going to be. There's no doubt about it. Try it at your next show. Now, do you have to bring hot dogs out? No, I mean, that's just what we decided to do with that particular show. You'll see another clip here in just a moment where we decided to play domino. We went out into the audience, grabbed a guy, brought him on stage, and we began to play a domino game while I'm holding a note. So that's still the same concept, friends. You came and you're hearing the concert. You're seeing these guys play dominoes. You're hearing this note still go forever, so that's amazing to you. And now you're getting a chance to physically touch somebody, because you came out into the audience, and the audience feels this connection with you. If they don't feel that connection with you, you become mood music. And you don't want to be mood music, because mood music doesn't get paid. Mood music doesn't get invited to festivals. Mood music is played in elevators. Mood music is played in restaurants when no live musician is there. Now, you can make mood music and sell it. However, if you're playing live, people should be able to pay attention to your live show. Get them using all 5 senses. If you're playing a gig, get you a cordless mic. If you're a singer or you're a poet, this goes for all of you guys. Get you a cordless mic. Go out into the crowd. Go out there so people can see you, they can touch you, they can smell you. Encourage that, because all of those things are going to move your bottom line and help you make money with your music. Now we're going to talk about that CD that you have. Talking about how to sell it from the stage. I spoke a little bit about how to mention it. You want to make sure that you're mentioning it at the end of your sets and even in the middle of your sets. Very casually, but on purpose. On purpose. You want to make sure you get your whole little scheme together about how you're going to mention your CD and have times to do that. What I didn't mention is who's selling the CD. That's extremely important. Now, you may call me sexist here, but I'm going to tell you like your TI is. Cute, bubbly females sell CDs. You can say anything you want to say, but at the end of the day, cute, bubbly females sell CDs. I don't know if it's that people just want to come talk to them. I don't know what it is. Don't care what it is. But if you can find a cute, bubbly female to sell your CDs, you're going to sell more. They're going to be happy and excited. Don't have anybody selling your CDs that's not happy and excited. Because if they're not happy and excited, your fans are not going to be happy and excited. No one wants to come by that. I'm telling you, you can play the same venue twice, and you can have some dude who's not excited about selling your product sit there one day and have a nice, attractive young female who's selling the CDs the next time. And guess what? You're going to sell more. You can be mad at me all day, but I'm here to help you make money with your music, period. It just works. Do it. Now, if you don't have that available, that's okay, but find a positive person. Find somebody who's excited to be there, somebody who's happy. Nobody wants to go and talk to somebody who's frowning. I can tell you that I've been to concerts when I looked over and seen the person who was selling CDs, and it's usually like a road manager or something like that, and I didn't want to buy one. I was like, wow. I mean, if that's what you're doing, man, I'm scared of you. You know, I'm scared you're going to take my money, you know, my wallet when I get up there. I don't know if I want to do that. So you want to make sure that you're actually finding somebody who looks inviting. So that they're going to come in and say, you know what, we would love for you to buy a CD. Come on over. We want you. Somebody inviting to you. If you think about it, cute, bubbly female sell everything. Walk into a 7-Eleven tomorrow and look at all the magazine covers. You will find that probably 70 to 80% of the magazine covers are doing exactly what I just told you to do. Now, you can look on the cover of GQ, and the cover of GQ, Gentleman's Quarterly, will have a female on the front half the time. So you want to make sure that you're capitalizing on the same thing that research dollars have been put out there for, and that attractive young ladies sell stuff. But make sure they're happy. Attractive and young and upset won't help you either. Make sure they're bubbly and excited and ready to go ahead and sell your product. Now, if you don't have one of those available, once again, do the best you can with finding somebody who's positive, possibly a fan, somebody in your fan club or your fan base. If you don't have that yet, that's okay. You will. All right? Continue to do the things that we teach. You will. Somebody in your fan base would love to sell product for you. Now, I'm talking in terms of generalizations. Does that mean that no man can sell product? Of course not. Okay? But I will tell you that I've experimented with all different types of individuals, and that just works. It just does. Sorry. Care about your live show. Care about your live show. One more time. Care about your live show. What do I mean? Care about your sound. Start purchasing the equipment that makes you sound better. Don't just go in there and take anything that they have, anything that they throw at you. Begin to purchase stuff that makes you sound better. Not that just looks cool, but makes you sound better. If you need a certain type of amp, go get it. If you need a certain type of module to play through or a certain type of effects that you sound great with, travel with that. Don't expect the sound team to always have that available for you. You know what you want to sound like. You know how you want to be represented. Begin to care about that. Know that it is very important how you're perceived on that stage. You could be killing. You could be a great musician. But if you have a horrible sound guy, I'm telling you, it's not going to do you any justice. So start caring about it. I know a friend, same friend, Dave Whiteman. Dave Whiteman is a great guy. And I'm telling you, he carries all types of equipment with this live show. I mean, he's got more equipment than you can shake a stick at. He's got more equipment than some festivals. And he'll carry that with him even when they're doing a small show. Now, he's got a lot of speakers. He's got a lot of amps and everything. And also has a full lighting show with all types of moving heads. Very important to the show. Now, some people will say, well, Dave, that's overkill. That's too much. Why are you bringing all that stuff out to this little gig? Well, he'll also be able to tell you that because he does that type of stuff and brings those things out, he's able to get some of those larger gigs that now it begins to look right. Because people could see the vision when he was doing what he was doing. He's able to play some of those events that he would not have been able to do had he not had that type of equipment. And it really boils down to caring about what you look like and caring about what you sound like on stage. Look the part. Look the part. Dress the part. Be on purpose. Be purposeful of what you wear. Be visually stimulating what you have on. Period. Remember, all of these things are important. Why would I pay $50 to see you if you don't even care about what you look like and what you sound like and what the lights are like on stage? I will never forget that we were doing a gig a long time ago with a gentleman named Kim from Chemistry. Great artist, phenomenal artist. I can't say enough good things about this particular individual. Phenomenal guy. Now, when we were booking the gig with them, they wanted to make sure that they had particular lights, a particular lighting setup because they had a light show. And at that time, it's a long time ago, really before I became aware of how important a light show is, I didn't really understand. But during that show, I watched how important lighting was to his entire live show. I watched him dim the lights at a certain point on a particular song. I watched the lights kind of go crazy on another song and then stop and go down on Kim as he went to a particular portion of the song. It was wonderful. And I realized how much and how stimulating it is to have music, your sound, and your lighting go together. It is so very important. So your lighting show, if you don't have one, think about getting one. Think about, it doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to start big with moving heads and hold on, but start thinking about your live lighting kit. Important. So important. Care about your live show. If you're trying to figure out if your live show is off the hook, it's very simple. Film yourself and then turn the sound down. That's all you got to do. If you turn the sound down and you still are visually amazing, you got something. If you turn the sound down and it just looks boring, well, friends, you got a boring show. So in conclusion today, it's very important that you look at yourself personally and say, is my live show stimulating? Is my live show something that I would pay to go see? Is my live show something that people can talk about years from now? Is my live show so compelling that 15 years from now, when someone has a slot for an event, they think about me? If the answer is no, then you need to think about it. You need to make sure that you're not doing some cardinal sins. Don't take a long break between each song. You should know what song is coming next. Practice your songs in sets so that there is no stopping and pausing. They know what song is next. You just move to it. I hate it when you hear bands stop for 2 and 3 minutes between the song and try to figure out what song they're going to play next. That looks so unprofessional. It's like you're not even prepared. Imagine you would do if you went to go see Prince and Prince didn't know what he was going to play next. Friends, that doesn't happen. Even though they may have certain portions of the show that may look like that, I'm telling you that even that was planned. Plan your live show. You can have some things that happen that are spontaneous in the middle of it, but plan your live show. Your live show is you. And if you're not selling your live show, man, are you even an artist? If you're not amazing from a visual perspective, you're not going to be able to sell as many CDs as you would be if you were stimulating visually. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to that. If you have any questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to email me, info@DwayneWashington.com. It's there on the bottom of the screen. Just send me an email. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have because I want to help you make more money with your music.
Thanks for listening to the Making Money with Your Music show with your host, Dwayne Washington. If you would like your questions answered on air or would like to become a guest on the show, feel free to contact Dwayne at info@Dwayne, that's DEWAYNE, Washington.com.